Hi everybody, Andy here, and for today's video we're going to talk about what are the 4 must-have pieces of medical diagnostic equipment that every household should have. Okay, so for the first item, every household should have this device here. This is called a glucometer, and it is used to measure blood sugar. Now, why do you need to have a glucometer? Well, I'm not a doctor, but in my long and storied life, I've had a lot of interactions with the healthcare system, up to and including stage 3 cancer. And if there's one thing I've learned is that the one metric from your body that correlates most closely with poor health, at least in Western developed countries like the United States or in Europe, is high blood sugar. So I strongly recommend that everybody test their blood sugar regularly, even if you don't have diabetes. High blood sugar correlates to trouble with a big T. Diabetes, of course, cardiovascular disease, kidney failure, liver problems, obesity and insulin resistance. All kinds of problems correlate with high blood sugar. So this is something that everybody should stay on top of. Now the good news is getting one of these items is easy. You can go to a drugstore and buy all kinds of different glucometers and all the test strips and the other accessories that come with it. Contrary to popular belief, you do not need a prescription, at least not in the United States. Although if your doctor prescribes it, maybe your health insurance will cover it for you. But everybody should pick this up and test their blood sugar regularly. Now, what specific tests should you do? So there are 2 tests you want to do. The first one is your fasting blood glucose level. Now, the best way to test your fasting blood glucose level is to just do a blood glucose test first thing in the morning as soon as you wake up and before you eat or drink anything. And I'm going to demonstrate in a few minutes how you can use this to check your blood glucose level. And the number you're looking for your fasting blood glucose level is under 100. You want to see it be consistently under 100. Now, if your fasting blood glucose level is consistently above 100, then I would recommend you go see your doctor. Your doctor will do a couple of blood tests, which I'll talk about in a minute, to see if you have any issues with diabetes. Now, the second test you want to do with this glucometer is you want to eat a meal. I'm not talking about a snack, but a real meal like lunch or dinner. And then wait 1 hour after the meal and then test your blood sugar. And your blood sugar should be 140 or less 1 hour after eating a meal. If you find after doing that a couple of times that your blood sugar is consistently above 140 after eating a meal and waiting 1 hour, again, you want to go see your doctor and have a couple of tests run. And if you do go see your doctor, your doctor is probably going to want to do 2 blood tests. The first blood test is a test called the hemoglobin A1C, and it's a diagnostic test that's used to diagnose diabetes. And basically what the hemoglobin A1C test is your average blood glucose level expressed as a percentage over the previous 3 months. And the number that your doctor would be looking for is for your A1C to be 5.6% or less. If it's 5.7% to I think around 6.5, that's what they call pre-diabetes, and they'll probably want to treat you with a drug like metformin to try to get it under control, and they'll recommend dietary changes, low carb, low sugar, those kinds of dietary changes to help you keep your blood sugar under control. Now, if it's 6.5 or above, then that's a diagnosis of diabetes. Another blood test that your doctor will want to give you is what's called a CMP, a comprehensive metabolic panel, which checks a lot of different metrics that show the function of various organs in your body, like do you have any kidney problems? Do you have any liver problems? What's your blood glucose level tested formally via blood draw? So those are important diagnostic tools that your doctor will use to help you get your blood sugar under control. Okay, so now I'm going to do a quick demo on how to actually check your blood sugar with one of these devices. Okay, so I ate lunch about an hour ago. So now I'm going to check my blood sugar. So the first thing I do is I got to do a finger prick and try to get a good blood. Try to get some good blood here and a little bit more. Put it in the reader. So now it's counting down. Okay, so the number is 108. It's hard to see because of the reverse camera, but it's 108, so that's pretty good. I ate lunch about an hour ago. It's 108, so that means I'm well below the goal of 140, so nothing to be worried about here. Okay, so the second piece of medical diagnostic equipment that every household should have is a thermometer. The thermometer, of course, is used to make sure that your body temperature is at a normal, healthy level. Okay, for thermometers, I like to buy these Vicks thermometers. You can get them on Amazon.com or in most drugstores. The reason why I like these Vicks thermometers is because they give a color-coded response. If your temperature is normal, you get a green. If it's borderline, you get a yellow. If you got a fever, you get a red. So let's see what mine looks like. Okay, temperature is 97.8, which is normal, and you see it flashes green. So 97.8 looks good. Okay, so the third must-have item for medical diagnostics that every household should have is a blood pressure machine. And here's an example of one blood pressure machine that I have that I bought at CVS. It's fairly high-end. The importance of measuring blood pressure is, high blood pressure correlates very closely to strokes and heart attacks. And if you do have high blood pressure, you want to go to your doctor. They've got many, many safe, effective medications that can be prescribed to you to get it under control. You do not want to wait until you have a stroke or you have a heart attack and you're hospitalized for that. You definitely want to get that under control quickly, okay? So there are a couple of different types. This one I have has a upper arm cuff, which is recommended because they're more accurate. And I also happen to buy a blood pressure machine that syncs with my smartphone via Bluetooth, so I can track my blood pressure readings and share them with my doctor online. But there are also wrist blood pressure cuffs. Like here's an example of one that just fit on your wrist. I can put it on for you to show you how it fits. And these are more convenient and they're also easier from a traveling standpoint. But they tend to be less accurate. So I prefer, again, the blood pressure machines that have a upper arm cuff. And the number you're looking for is, of course, blood pressure has two numbers. The upper number is systolic blood pressure, the pressure that the blood exerts when the heart contracts. And then the bottom number is the diastolic blood pressure, which is the pressure of the blood on the inner arterial walls when the heart relaxes. And you want the systolic to be under 140 and the diastolic to be under 90. And if they're consistently above those numbers, you should see your doctor. Now, here's a quick demonstration on how to check your blood pressure at home. Okay, and finally, the fourth must-have medical diagnostic equipment item for every household is a pulse oximeter. And what this device does is it attaches to your index finger, and it measures your oxygen saturation and also your pulse. Now, of course, the blood pressure machine that I showed you before will do your pulse as well. But what's really important for this device is your oxygen saturation, which shows the efficiency with which your circulatory system is getting oxygen carried by your blood to your lower extremities, like your fingers. And you want to see a number between 95 and 100 for that. If your readings are consistently below 95, you want to see your doctor and get that addressed, because that means that your extremities are not getting the amount of oxygen they need to operate in a optimal manner. Now, here's a close-up on how this device works. Okay, here's a pulse oximeter I bought online. And as you can see, the left number is flapping between 96 and 97. That's the oxygen saturation, and the right number is my pulse. So for oxygen saturation, anything between 95 and 100 is okay. And pulse, you want to see your resting pulse be below 100. Okay, so there you have it. The 4 essential medical diagnostic devices that every household should have. To summarize, number 1 is the glucometer to measure your blood sugar. Number 2 is the thermometer to measure your body temperature. Number 3 is the blood pressure machine to measure your blood pressure and pulse. And number 4 is the pulse oximeter to measure your oxygen saturation and also your pulse. And for those of you who have the money and the inclination, a bonus 5th item that I would recommend is wear a wearable fitness tracker, such as the Fitbit. I got a Fitbit here, which will sync with your smartphone and track a lot of different useful metrics, such as your resting pulse, your activity level, the number of steps you take, the number of workouts you do, how many miles you walk every day, and also your sleep efficiency. How many hours do you sleep? How many times do you wake up every night? What's your resting pulse while you're asleep? And other clues that could help diagnose sleep apnea potentially. So these are the essential medical diagnostic devices that every household should have. And I'm Andy. I hope you found this video useful. And if you did, please click the like button and subscribe. And if you didn't, or you thought I should have covered some other device that I forgot about, please leave a comment in the comment section below and let me know. Thank you and have a great day.